Alrighty, I'm trying to keep these brief because I'm getting interrupted and cut off sometimes, and for some reason, the full videos aren't rendering all the time. Really quickly, this was, again, a photo that was texted to me shortly after I was fired by a coworker that I worked with at Cedar Island. They left a few days before I was fired, and I actually moved into their RV lot when they left, and then I was fired. So again, I think I already pointed out several ways in which it looks like. So this is the same exact fire pit. You can see, and this is from hours earlier. You can tell in many ways because that log there off to the right is less burned down here. And the wood and the kindling and stuff was just logs of wood were just thrown in the center way more haphazardly from like all appearances. And you can see here in the photo, that log has been burnt down significantly in the background. That log in the back is the one that was off to the right in the other photo. But here, now, this wood has been placed very specifically to look like an X, two crossed lines within a box. So it's like the fiery cross, the lamb on the fiery cross. It also represents what I was saying, as I was getting into before, is a mathematical concept as image that I see in sacred geometry regularly known as. It represents something known as squaring the circle. So here's just one website talking about it. It's called the Mystical Court. You can find lots of information on this. Supposedly it's a mathematical impossibility. I think probably yes, it is. I think that this upsets them. The people that I'm researching and have been investigating, I don't think they would like this image very much. I think they would prefer the image if it had that upward pointing triangle sticking out of the outside circle. So you can see here how the circle it doesn't remain trapped in any of the other shapes. You have it on the inside of the square there, but then you have it on the outside again. That's sort of representing that. I'm not going to get into it too much. I'm going to let you guys do a lot of your own reading into this. But essentially, you have the circle in the center. That is the X. So X and O are essentially, they represent the same thing. Often we see X's to represent O's. And it's within that square, that box, just like the fire pit, and then it's within the upward pointing triangle, which is typically, when it's in this image in sacred geometry, is then within a larger circle. Now, the concept that I see popping up, and I see it in images, and I see it referenced in lyrics, I see it written about in books, is this idea of breaking out, breaking free, getting through, getting out of the egg, out of the womb, out of the world, finally being alive, like flipping it. And one of the ways that that's represented in symbols and images is this. Quite often you'll see the tip of an upward pointing triangle, or the tip of a spear, or a phallic tip, some sort of phallic shape, the tip of it pointing out of, breaking through a sort of circular or often even a box shape. The box and the circle can often be considered to be interchangeable sometimes, not always, but sometimes, because they are, the square and the circle are even shapes. So you can fold the circle in half, and one half is exactly like the other half. It's the same with the square. They're both even, balanced, stable shapes. The pyramid, the triangle, not so much. If you fold one in half, it's not, one half is not like the other, is it? No. So sometimes the circle and the square is considered to be interchangeable. So sometimes you'll see it represented, for example, so let's go back to this photo that they sent me. So again, we have the X, which is the inner circle. It's within the box, the square there. It's within the upward pointing triangle. And then you could say that either the frame of the photo itself could represent that bigger circle, or a bigger box, which could be a bigger circle. Remember how women are called boxes, and why? Because we have some, quote unquote, boxes in us. Well, that's meant to be the uterus. Last time I checked, the uterus is a bit more globular. It's a bit more spherical shaped than box shaped, right? Or you could say pear shaped, upside down pear shaped, maybe even. But you get the basic idea. Those two are considered interchangeable quite often. So you could say that with the outside frame of the photo itself, that represents the boundaries, sort of, that the outer circle represents. And then you've got the tip of the upward pointing triangle breaking out right there. And you also have, make note of, you see this beam of light kind of going from one side, sort of almost top left, just under the black car here. You can almost see like some of the rainbow hues in there. It's coming all the way across the photo. It's dissecting, going straight through the lamb there. All the way off to the right-hand side of the photo here, off the frame. And you can see some of it up here, kind of cutting off the top right-hand. I'm trying to zoom in. Oh, come on. Cutting off the top right-hand side of this corner of this photo. It almost seems to make like and this beam of light, the main beam of light in the center here, seems to curve upward off towards the edges here a bit. So it almost suggests like a halo of light around. So that's significant. So this would be, again, what we're seeing here is, it's a photograph. It's a photograph which is a 2D representation of a 3D real life, well, multidimensional real life image, a sculpture, if you will, a living sculpture, a living recreation of another 2D, which was made of another 2D image, but a corruption of this image. They corrupted it by having this sticking out of it, the triangle, tippy top point of the triangle sticking out of it. So do you see how they like, and this represents an idea, this idea that you can't square the circle. Do you see how they like to take these concepts and ideas, and they don't just turn them into 2D images, they turn them into 3D images, well, multidimensional images. They will make, they'll make multiple, like they'll make sculptures, they'll lay out buildings, architectural, all kinds of stuff, street layouts, so on and so forth, to look like different things that represent, that show this same basic concept, breaking out, breaking through, out of the womb, out of the world, breaking out of an egg. So let me real quick touch on a few more things, and then I'm going to stop this one and start another one. So here we go, right here. I see this concept being relayed repeatedly. It's so perfect with Trump. I've seen him before, a few of these. We can see right here, the United States Space Force image. Upward pointing triangle breaking out of the circle. And even the Star Trek Starfleet. Note the falling star, 5-pointed star, but it's the falling star, it appears to be in the center of the upper pointing triangle. Note the halo of light going around it. That's one circle it's breaking through, and then it's breaking through this other circle. You can see the tip getting through the blue circle, that blue circle being like the womb. Again, like the material world. Here's another one. Yeah. So that's just another image where I see one of many, where I see this idea being displayed. Again, it's sort of a corruption of this one, where the triangle is sticking out of the outer circle. It's breaking through. Let me read you this. Here's sort of a way that it'll be referenced in, let's say, in writing. This is a story called Demian by Hermann Hesse. It references the deity Abraxas. The next video I make is going to get into a bit more on Abraxas. I'm going to end this like here with like sort of a teaser, and then pick up with a bit a little short video touching on Abrasax, and then I plan to do a longer video. All right. So let me read this quote from Demian by Herman Hesse. The bird fights its way out of the egg. The egg is the world. Who would be born must first destroy a world. The bird flies to God. That God's name is Abrasax. When we make note of bird struggling out of the egg is the world. We're going to get into NAVA YONI. NAVA YONI is a term from it's a tantric term from Tantra. NAVA meaning 9, YONI meaning womb. NAVA YONI can mean 9 wombs, 9 worlds. It can also mean the sexual organs of a prepubescent girl, as can be found in the glossary in the back of a book written by Kenneth Grant, who for a while ran the OTO, the Ordo Templi Orientis. It was, the book was titled something, The Mummy. I believe it was maybe the only book with a mummy in the title. That narrows it down significantly. It's in the glossary, though, if you look up NAVA YONI, NAVA YONI. So, the egg is the world. It's also the uterus. So this idea of breaking through, breaking out, wanting to flip the script, wanting to flip the switch, to turn the inside out, to make chaos rule. And here's just an image of the Abrasax, or Abrasax. I've seen it both ways, that we're going to get into on the next video. Lamb on the cross. So here's something I want to show you guys real quick. When it comes to that Lamb on the cross image, I think I've already shown videos showing the Knights Templar cross, how it can be represented as a 4-leaf clover. And here's one image of the Lamb on the cross. Note the 7 seals on the bottom. Yeah, so I'm going to end this video. I'm trying to keep them short. I'm going to pick it back up with some Abrasax stuff. Yeah, all right.